It was a creed written into the founding documents that declared the destiny of a nation. Yes, we can. It was whispered by slaves and abolitionists as they blazed the trail toward freedom. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. It was sung by immigrants.
I think he's a great leader for this country because he's different and he has a good way forward for what he wants to do, unlike our current administration. Well, we do give about 90% of our money ends up going to Obama. And I'm from Ohio, and I have an eBay store, and we sell buttons there too. And I traveled 3 hours for this. I enjoy going to all the events and rallies and campaigns.
I think he's what America needs right now. He seems like the most authentic candidate, and he's not the status quo as McCain or even Hillary. And it'd just be something new. It'd be something different, and just we need a change, and he's the one who can bring it about. I went canvassing yesterday on the bike. Just went door to door, asking people who their candidate was, and they're undecided. Try to persuade them towards Barack Obama, and it's just trying to get the word out.
So why are you guys here today?
Barack Obama, the next president of the United States of America.
Well, you sound pretty confident in that.
Of course.
So,
I have faith.
Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. We know the battle ahead will be long. But always remember that no matter what obstacles stand, nothing can stand in the way of the power of millions of voices calling for change. We have been told we cannot do this by a chorus of cynics. They will only grow louder. We love you, bro. Love you back.
Last summer, the Delphi plant here in Anderson ceased production, costing over 1,300 local workers, including Tiffany and her husband, their jobs. Just remember that around the same time, Delphi was laying off workers and closing plants in communities like Anderson. It was preparing a plan to offer over 500 of its top executives more than $200 million in cash and stock bonuses once the company left bankruptcy protection. While the Guy Corporation plant here in Anderson, an 81-year-old operation that employed generations of Anderson residents, ceased production last year, 600 workers were left without jobs. Unemployment here in Anderson is around 7%, dramatically outpacing the rest of the country. Families here in Madison County make over $7,000 less than the average American family. Between 2001 and 2005, Madison County lost 1/3 of its manufacturing jobs. So over 10% of its retail jobs were lost at this same time. And as Tiffany pointed out, when people lose their jobs after the plant closes, it's not just the job that they lose. You lose your health care, you lose your pension. Communities start praying. Retail stores don't have as much business. Restaurants aren't attracting the same customers. The whole community takes a blow. All across this country are stories like this. All across this country, people are working harder and harder just to get by. At the same time that the economy has expanded over the last 7 years, the average family income has gone down $1,000. First economic expansion in history that ever happened. And obviously now that we're moving into recession, families are doing even worse. And this is at a time when gas prices are going up, at a time when grocery prices are going up, at a time when millions of people are at risk of losing their home because nobody was overseeing the mortgage lending business and the deceptive loans that were being given to families. 47 million people without health insurance. Millions of children, despite the slogans, being left behind because our schools are inadequately funded. Now, in such circumstances, we can't afford to wait. We can't wait to fix our schools. We can't wait to fix our healthcare system. We can't wait to bring back good jobs and good wages here to Anderson. We can't wait because the families all across America are having a tough time. And when I decided to run 15 months ago, it was based on what I was hearing and seeing from families who didn't have health care, single moms who were trying to figure out how to go to school and work at the same time, 55-year-old workers who had been not only lost their job now, they were being told to retrain, but there wasn't anything to retrain for. And oftentimes they wouldn't get hired because it was easier and cheaper to hire a younger worker. And so not only did I decide to run because of the stories that I was hearing, but also because I was convinced that the American people were ready to do better. I admire John McCain for his service to our country. He's a genuine American hero. But John McCain is basically running for George Bush's third term. He wants to continue the same failed foreign policies of the last 7.5 years. He wants to maintain a troop presence at least for the next 4 years, maybe for the next 100 in Iraq, with no exit strategy. We can't afford 4 more years of failed foreign policy. 4 more years of George Bush's foreign policy. And he also wants to maintain 4 more years of Bush economic policies. He said that he had reviewed Bush economic policies and he concluded that we had made great progress. Great progress. That's what he said. That was a quote from last week. And, you know, think about it. This is somebody who, back in 2001, opposed the Bush tax cuts for the wealthy, saying that it offended his conscience. That's what he said. It was irresponsible to give tax cuts to the wealthy at the same time as we're going into war. But somewhere on his path to the Republican nomination, John McCain kind of lost track of his conscience. The Straight Talk Express lost the wheel. And now he is promoting the same strategies to give corporate tax breaks and corporate loopholes and tax breaks to the wealthy at the same time as working families are struggling. If he thinks that's great progress, he must not be talking to people in Anderson. He must not be talking to them. Well, I'm talking to them, and I know that they don't want 4 more years of Bush economic policy. That's why I know we're going to be united come November. That's the guarantee. But, and here's a big but. The election that all of you will be involved with on May 6th, that's a primary election. And so you do have a choice. You have a choice to make about what kind of leadership do we need moving into the future. Because, you know, Senator Clinton and I, we share some good policy ideas. We have some similar plans. But there's one big difference between me and her, and that is our assessment of Washington and how Washington works. See, I don't think that we can deliver on health care reform if we've got the same old folks doing the same old things in Washington. We've been talking about health care for decades now, through Democratic and Republican administrations. And yet, year after year after year, nothing ever changes. The only thing that's changed is your costs have gone up. If you've got health insurance, you've seen your premiums go up. Your deductibles go up, your co-payments go up. If you don't have health insurance, you're out of luck. Why is that? Well, part of it is that you've got the drug companies and the insurance companies spent $1 billion over the last 10 years in campaign contributions and lobbying of Congress. Now, maybe you hired lobbyists too, I don't know. Probably not, though. You probably didn't have somebody representing you in Washington.